Trucking is not a service. It's moving stuff around. Airplanes aren't even a service. They're just moving you around. They're a movement of place. You buy the movement of you from San Francisco to Baltimore, where I'm going to, so I'm thinking Baltimore. And you just rent a seat. Those planes are flying all the time. The good is the plane. The plane, United buys the plane from Boeing, say. And that's a good that goes into then what United provides, which is it rents you seats. It's just like a movie theater. It's just like a hotel. A hotel is good. It's just a building. And they rent you a room. That's not a service. It's a rental. A rental is not a service. It's a one-day use. It's an overnight use of a good. If I rent a DVD, it's clearly still a good. Well, if I rent a hotel room, it's no different. It's just a lot bigger. Okay? So rentals are goods. Okay, rentals are goods, yeah. It's hard to rent a haircut. Yeah. No, he's not. He's running an airplane back and forth. He's working for the airline. His job is to fly back and forth and back and forth. The stewards give you a service, but very little. Yes. Exactly. Oh, no, you're right. A good is ownable, but a rental is a form of purchase. It's a part-time, it's a temporary purchase. I didn't make that up. That's an old idea. Okay. Just like when you rent an apartment. I mean, I don't think anybody think your apartment is a service, right? None of you think your apartment's a service, or your room in a dorm. It's not a service. It's just a place to stay, and you rent it. You rent it for a while. Yeah, I should have said that in rentals. I didn't want to get too hung up. In restaurants, mostly what you buy is a dinner. It comes on a plate or in a package, and the service is nothing. Even if you pay 15% for it, it's usually nothing. Somebody smiles and says, "My name is Diane," and brings you their good, and then you go, "Thank you very much," and that's like that much of what you got. Yeah. Oh, if they come to repair it? Oh, they're just getting their goods straightened out. And the good they're selling you, actually, is TV shows, which are things. They're real, tangible things. They flicker, and that's where we have the trouble, when it's a flickery image. But when you buy a book, nobody thinks a book's a service, right? But when you read it and you're lost in a great novel by Jane Austen or something, it's all up in your head. It's flickering. But now that everything's been turned into imagery and digital imagery, we go, ooh, that must be different. But it's not. You buy a box called a TV that's going to give you the ability to look at these other goods, which are flickery TV shows. Yeah. Oh, boy. Got to keep moving here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think advertising mostly takes the form of a good, which is it's an advertising campaign, but it has very tangible bits. By the way, the tangible bits are often subcontracted to a designer who will do the layout for an ad for Gucci. You get a photographer who will take a picture, right? And then another person will write the stuff, and then another person will sell it to the magazine, and they're all working for the ad industry, either as direct labor or subcontracted labor. Some of it takes the form of a good. Like photographers don't act that they're selling a service; they're selling a thing. Advertisers as a whole might be selling you some business advice, like a business service, but a lot of what they sell you is a package of things: TV ads, print ads, and so on. Again, I don't want to be hard and fast, but I think it's interesting to think about it and try and analyze it. But in the end, most advertising, of course, is not trying to do anything more than sell you a can of beer. And it's all oriented, and especially if you watch football games, where all advertising is beer and cars. And, it's real clear what they're selling. And it's clear that advertising is just an auxiliary to selling you cars and beer. That's all it is. If it were inside the firm, you'd never think otherwise. But since it's subcontracted, maybe it's a business service, maybe it's good, maybe it's an auxiliary good, maybe it's an auxiliary service, however you want to classify it. It's not management, so I classify it as auxiliary. Okay, where are we here? Engineering. They even sell systems design. They're very important. My favorite is IKEA, because we all understand that. IKEA sells you furniture in a box. But the brilliant thing about IKEA is the guy who figured out how, if you design the furniture in a box so it all lie flat, you could save an enormous amount of cost in storage and transportation. You could also get the customer to put it together if you made it simple. And the genius, of course, was that little twisty nut in all IKEA. And it really works. I mean, they weren't the first to invent self-assembled furniture. But the old kinds, you'd be in there for hours drilling and screwing, and a simple assembly required, and it wouldn't work, and the bookcase would still be tilty. And IKEA's the genius of it is you put together an IKEA bookcase, it's pretty solid, even though it's made from seemingly flimsy parts. So that's a kind of system design. It's selling you a whole... Somebody designed that for IKEA. And it's separate from the making of the wood parts, or the metal parts. It was a design. And IKEA, of course, has armies of guys doing furniture design for them. That can be subcontracted. And their whole cities, there are now books. Alan Scott, a well-known economic geographer at UCLA, written a book, The Cultural Economy of Cities. Harvey Malach, a sociologist, where stuff comes from. They've written these books about design. They're both from Southern California, so they're fascinated by the fact that LA has so much specialization in design. And like a lot of autos, like the Mazdas are designed in LA. The first Nokia phone was designed in LA. A lot of things you wouldn't think that were designed in LA are designed in LA to be produced somewhere far away. And again, why does design, why do madmen go to Madison Avenue? Because there's a pool of labor, a sharing of ideas, a face-to-face contact, plus access to corporate headquarters in Manhattan. So that's why you got this Madison Avenue concentration of ad agencies back in the mid-20th century. They're more dispersed today, but they still concentrate. Marketing is another one. Designing brands and so on. I don't really want to spend time because I'm running out of time on this. Integrating design and marketing. Yep. There are, of course, part of management. Some of the tricky bits of management are integrating these different sub-segments of labor. Okay, just like we talked about integrating systems. Swift and Company, Dell and Company, these major revolutions in integrating production systems. There are also these problems. How do you integrate design into that? How do you integrate marketing? And companies are constantly playing with this. All right, I've got some great engineers, and I've got some great market guys, but they have very different ideas about what will sell, or what they should do. The engineers want to do something nerdy, and the market people want to do something slick that doesn't have much function. And there's a constant battle within companies between these ends of the overall complex production process. And there are various solutions to this, like these, what do they call them, these teams where you throw people together for a while. They get them to kind of, shoot, there's a name for it. Huh? Yeah, they're project teams. There's an even slicker business talk name for these. Huh? Focus groups could be. No, these are project teams in industry. The sashimi model is the Japanese version of that. Yeah. God, there's another. Oh, well, hell with it. Oh, yeah, that's right. There it is. Well, I don't have it up there, but I'm searching for it. Anyway, there are various models to this. Companies will put listening posts in Silicon Valley just to be around what's happening, be close to Apple, so they can figure out what Apple's doing. And then everybody knocks off Apple products. Nokia just came out with a phone, whatever you call advanced phones, there's some generic name for those, right? Smartphone. A smartphone that runs on the Microsoft system, if you can imagine. Okay. Yeah, here. There I had an example from Motorola Consumer Experience Design Groups. And they put all these guys together to try and get them to talk before you ever really go far with the product. Because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of money. Okay, we don't want to talk about that. We did that already. Advertising, subcontracting ad campaigns, yes. We talked about this already. There are advertising centers around the world. Bangkok, by the way, is a big one, although it's underwater right now. But it's a big one. In Bangkok, by the way, is sinking, which makes these floods even worse. Because they're pumping out too much groundwater, but that's for another course. Maintenance and repair, another kind of non-service service. It's follow-up labor on durable goods. Well, I already said that, so I don't need to repeat that. And various kinds of durable goods. Building maintenance, automobile maintenance, coming in and fixing your computers, whatever. And those kind of repair services tend to be very dispersed. They're either you take your car to them, so they need to be close to consumers, or they need to get to offices, so they're scattered around serving a lot of small offices. There'll be some big ones in center cities dealing with all those skyscraper offices. And you can even offshore repair labor, where they ship the product back. Or, like we said earlier, call centers where they're helping you repair your modem box or get your phone service working or whatever it is, and back online. Okay, finally, my last topic is creative labor. This is what I want to wrap up with. What we see, there's been a lot of talk about this creative labor. Oops, I forgot to change the title. So I want to say smart economy, not knowledge economy. But anyway, forget it. So there's just a lot of talk about the knowledge economy, creative labor, and so on. And I want to run through this quickly. What we saw back when we talked about technology in Lecture 3 was that over time, technology advances. We get more science, more engineering, more sophistication in our understanding of nature and how to manipulate it, more sophisticated organization of labor, management systems, more sophisticated workers and managers, more educated, and so on. That's a long-standing, long-term upward development, which in all countries want to follow, and that we've followed for 200 years in this country. And along with it, more sophisticated production systems, which we've also talked about, and which applies, by the way, to offices as well as to manufacturing or retailing or distribution. Now, does that mean we're in a new kind of economy? Well, if we see this as a kind of long-term development, you're less likely to be taken in by the idea that suddenly we're in a new information age, knowledge, smart economy. So right there, I think you should have some doubts about a lot of this chit-chat today. What about goods? Yes, goods have gotten smarter. And that's also confusing, because it does seem like goods, we're in a new age of information and so on. In some ways we are. But all goods have information in them. Even a lowly chair tells you that it's a chair. That's about as primitive a bit of information as you can want. But we all know what a chair is, right? But there are other ones that have much more information content in them, like a bicycle. And you look at a bicycle, somebody explains it to you, there's a lot of knowledge in that bicycle, which you have to understand. And it can be imparted by an instruction booklet or by somebody just getting you to try it. And eventually you learn what a bicycle can do. And of course with cars and so on, it gets even more complex. But over time, we have things like books and software that are really there to impart information more than do anything else. That they're very function of a chair, and a bicycle is not to impart information. But there are things like books that do. Now, books are pretty old, right? So maybe this isn't that new either. But with the digital age, we get an awful lot of goods where the imparting information is internal to the good. You can interact with the good, and you're going, wow, this is a really smart good. This is a good I can learn from, a good I can use to do kind of wondrous things with. So does that mean we're in a creative or knowledge economy? Well, it does kind of. But is it an absolute leap? But the funny thing that I've been implying all along here is that the intangibles, which are so big in our modern economy, in our modern life, in our modern goods, tend to be embedded in goods. So what I like to call the stubborn persistence of things. Although you're getting disembodied stuff, virtual stuff, that isn't very thingy, though it is actually, but you don't feel that way. You can't drop it on your foot. We still buy an awful lot of stuff we drop on our feet. Whether it's cameras or iPods or iPhones. We do this all through stuff. And, people line up to get the thing. And buy millions of them, and that's what makes Apple rich, is the selling of the things that have all this wondrous stuff in them. We also have smarter workers over time. And this leads to the theory of the creative class, identified with this guy, Rich Florida, an old pal of mine, who very close to geography, and now is at the University of Toronto. And in this thesis, smart workers, creative workers are the key to growth. They're what you want if you want growth. And here's a typical diagram with the core creative fields, and then the rest of the economy is just like Pluto. Is it a planet or isn't it? Right? But the sun is a creative class, and the earth is a cultural industry. And the geographic thesis that goes along with this is the way to get growth is to attract these creative people, these certain kind of workers, to your city or your region or your country. Now, the first error of this is a very old divide. There have always been skilled workers and unskilled workers. This is the oldest story since the Industrial Revolution. Although the division of labor is more elaborate now, you still have that divide. And just by naming skilled workers who used to be machinists, now you call them creative workers, have you actually changed anything? I'm not so sure. Today, you have the sort of college-educated technical professional people versus everybody else. But it's really an old story. So that's the first mistake. Second mistake is to forget about everybody else. That is, there are all kind of middle levels of the division of labor. It isn't so simple as creative and then the rest of the drudge. But by leaving out all these important auxiliary, accessory, whatever you want to call them, secondary workers, we can emphasize the doctors and the designers and the tech engineers and the clothing designers and the architects and the artists, but we can leave aside the people who actually draw the plans, the nurses who actually save the people when the doctor's done and care for them and so on. And those kind of people get short shrift. And again, I would argue a lot of what's going on here is the same old devaluing of all but the highest level people, devaluing of the working class, that I talked about before. The third error is, how do these creative people do all these wonderful things without all the drudge people? They got to have people I make my wonderful software design. Somebody's got to build it. Somebody's got to actually draw it. Somebody's got to clean up after me. Somebody's got to feed me. Somebody's got to raise my kids. Somebody's got to build my house. Oh, turns out in Silicon Valley, the greatest high-tech center in the world, out of now I think the total labor force down there, Santa Clara County, total labor force in greater Silicon Valley must be 1.5 million workers. It's close to 1 million workers, maybe 2 million people because of kids and old people and so on. Out of those 1 million workers, about 250,000 work in electronics. And the rest are just drudges. But guess what? The place doesn't work without those other people. Fourth error, why isn't all work creative? Okay, there must be these really creative jobs and everything else is drudge work because people are drudges? What is it? Well, there's a whole long history of the critique of work under capitalism and how it gets divided up so that some people get to do the skilled stuff, some people get to get educated, some people get to work smart, and other people work at office space. And they do drudge work and they're treated as stupid, or they've got supervisors hanging over them, telling them what to do every minute, and so on. And this, Adam Smith criticized this. Karl Marx, Harry Braverman, this whole history of critics of work under capitalism, that maybe ignoring all those other people is ignoring the fact of how capitalism defines and also reduces jobs. Finally, we come to the smart or knowledge economy thesis, and is there a new industrial revolution? And because of the digital age and so on, and is knowledge the key to everything? Now in Europe, they really think this is really important. They have whole strategies at the level of the EU of the knowledge economy. But actually what they're doing is they're saying, oh crap, we don't produce anything anymore. Asia produces everything. We got to figure out what we're going to be good at. So in some ways it's just a strategy of rich countries they've been playing up to say, what is it we still do that's any good? Secondly, there's always the capitalist fantasy side, that capitalists would always like to have a knowledge economy, an automated economy, just a few creative workers, a few great managers, and the hell with the rest. And that's still the capitalist fantasy, because then you don't have to deal with all those dirty workers. And our current version of that is well, let China do it all, and we'll just have creative people in our cities. And forget about all the people who are suffering because they don't have jobs, because what they are is auto workers or bicycle repairmen or janitors or whatever else that have lost their jobs and have no place. And if they get too uppity, what do you do? You send the police. And that's true whether it's Occupy Oakland or it's in general with black workers who are thrown in jail because we got nothing to do with them. And so neoliberalism, at the same time it shipped all these industrial jobs offshore, has been warehousing human beings to an unprecedented degree.